I thought love letters were a thing of the past, something people did before texts and social media. But that changed the day I found one hidden inside his jacket. It was an old leather jacket I'd borrowed because I was cold. As I slipped my hands into the pocket, I felt something crumpled inside. A letter. Folded neatly, smelling faintly of his cologne. At first, I smiled. I thought it was from me, maybe something he kept from the early days of our relationship. But as I unfolded it, my smile froze. The handwriting wasn't mine. Last night was perfect. I can still feel you. Please don't forget me again. My stomach dropped. I reread the sentence over and over, hoping I was imagining it. But the date, only a week ago, proved I wasn't. He came home that night with flowers, saying he'd been working late. Working. I sat on the couch, letter in hand, my heart racing so fast it hurt. For a few minutes, I couldn't even cry. I just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to process what this meant. When he walked in the door, smiling, everything inside me shattered. He kissed my cheek, I felt sick. Hey, babe. You okay? You look pale. I wanted to scream. Instead, I handed him the letter. His smile vanished. His eyes widened, then darted away. Where did you get this? He asked. In your jacket, I whispered. He opened his mouth but no words came out. That silence, that hesitation, it told me everything. Tears started rolling down my cheeks before I even realized I was crying. I asked him, who is she? He didn't answer. Just turned away, rubbing the back of his neck, the same way he always did when he was caught in a lie. That night, I didn't sleep. He slept on the couch, and I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, thinking about every single moment we'd ever shared. Every I love you. Every you're my forever. Was it all fake? When morning came, I decided I needed the truth, all of it. So while he showered, I checked his phone. And what I found there, made the letter look like a fairy tale. I don't know what I was expecting when I opened his phone, maybe just a few suspicious messages. But what I found made my hands tremble so badly I almost dropped it. There she was. Her name saved as Liam, work. Cute trick. Inside, dozens of messages, photos, even voice notes. My heart pounded louder with every scroll. Can't wait to see you again. I miss your hands. Don't tell her yet, okay? That last one hit me like a knife. Don't tell her yet. So it wasn't just a fling. He was planning to leave me. I felt the air leave my lungs. My hands went cold, my vision blurred. I wanted to smash the phone, scream, do something, but instead, I just sat there, frozen, staring at the proof that everything I believed in was a lie. He came out of the shower, towel around his waist, smiling like nothing was wrong. Morning, babe. Coffee? I turned the phone toward him. Liam from work says hi. He froze mid-step. The color drained from his face. For a long second, we just stared at each other. Where did you? Stop. My voice cracked. Just stop lying. I saw everything. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. His eyes darted to the door, then back to me. It's not what you think. Oh, really? I laughed, a dry, broken sound. Because it looks exactly like what I think. He tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. Don't touch me, I said, shaking. You don't get to do that anymore. The anger finally hit, sharp, clean, and overwhelming. Do you know what's worse than being cheated on? Being made to feel stupid while it happens. He looked at me like a stranger, scared, maybe even sorry, but I didn't care anymore. I walked past him, grabbed my bag, and slammed the door. Outside, the cold morning air hit my face like a slap. I could still smell his cologne on my hands, and it made me sick. I wanted to erase every trace of him, his voice, his smell, his lies. I walked aimlessly for hours, not knowing where I was going. My phone buzzed nonstop, messages, calls, apologies I refused to read. Finally, I sat on a park bench and opened the letter again. The paper was smudged with tears, mine, probably. I stared at the words, at her handwriting, and whispered, "You can have him." But deep down, something inside me broke, not just because he betrayed me, but because I realized I had no idea who I was without him, and that terrified me more than the betrayal itself. I didn't go home that night. I couldn't. The apartment that used to feel like mine suddenly felt poisoned. Every corner, every scent, every memory screamed his name. I booked a cheap hotel room, threw my phone on the bed, and stared at the ceiling for hours, trying to make sense of what just happened. I wasn't crying anymore, I was empty. The kind of empty that eats you from the inside. At some point, exhaustion took over, and I fell asleep in my clothes. When I woke up, sunlight was spilling through the curtains. My phone had 23 missed calls, 47 unread messages, all from him. I opened one. "Please, let me explain." I deleted it. Another. "I made a mistake. I can't lose you." Deleted. I didn't want explanations. There was nothing to explain. He made a choice, not once, but every time he looked at her instead of me. I took a long shower, as if the hot water could wash off his touch. Then I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were swollen, my face pale, but there was something else, something new. A spark. Maybe anger. Maybe strength. I wasn't sure yet, but I knew I wasn't going to let him break me. That's when I decided to do something I'd never done before, disappear. Not in the dramatic way, but truly disappear from his world. I turned off my phone, blocked him everywhere, packed a small bag, and took the first train to my hometown, a quiet coastal place where no one knew my story. The ride was long, and for the first time in days, I felt like I could breathe again. I watched the fields, the trees, the sky, everything that didn't care about my pain. It was strangely comforting. When I arrived, I rented a small room near the sea. The air was salty, the sound of waves constant. I went down to the shore, kicked off my shoes, and walked barefoot on the cold sand. The water was freezing, but it felt real. It felt alive. I hadn't felt alive in a long time. I started journaling that evening. At first, it was just angry words, curses, questions, everything I never said to him. But slowly, the words changed. I began writing about me. About the girl I used to be before him, confident, curious, full of dreams. Somewhere along the way, I'd lost her trying to make him happy. I spent days like that, writing, walking, thinking. Each sunset hurt a little less. Each sunrise felt a little lighter. I stopped checking my phone. I started sleeping again. And then one morning, as I sat by the water, I realized something. I didn't need closure from him. I didn't need his apology or his guilt. The only thing I needed was to forgive myself, for loving someone who never deserved it. I looked at the sea and whispered, "You don't own me anymore." And for the first time, I believed it. A week later, life started to feel almost normal again. I had a small routine, coffee in the morning, walks by the beach, evenings spent writing in my notebook. The silence that once terrified me now felt peaceful. I thought I was finally moving on, until that one morning. I was sitting at my favorite cafe by the shore, sipping my coffee, when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Emma?" My heart froze. I turned around, and there he was, Liam. My first love. The one who left years ago to find himself. The one who taught me what love could be, before life taught me what pain feels like. He looked older, a little tired, but his smile was exactly the same. "I can't believe it's you," he said, sliding into the seat across from me. I wanted to be angry, to walk away, but instead, I just stared. Maybe it was the shock. Maybe it was the universe being cruelly ironic. We talked for hours. About everything and nothing. About where we've been, who we became, what we lost. He told me he'd just moved back to take care of his father, who'd fallen ill. His eyes were softer now, full of something I couldn't quite name, regret, maybe? When I told him I was just taking a break from the city, he nodded slowly, like he understood without me having to explain. "You look different," he said quietly. "Stronger." That night, I couldn't stop thinking about him. Not because I still loved him, but because he reminded me of a time when I did love fearlessly. When love didn't mean pain. Over the next few days, we ran into each other again, at the market, at the beach, at the little bookstore I liked. At first, I thought it was coincidence. Then I realized maybe it wasn't. He invited me to dinner one evening. I hesitated, but something inside me whispered, why not? It wasn't about starting something new. It was about proving to myself that I wasn't broken. That I could still laugh, still feel something other than sadness. Dinner was simple, pasta, wine, soft music. He asked about my writing, my plans, my dreams. No one had asked me that in a long time. His attention felt healing. But when he reached across the table and touched my hand, I froze. Memories of betrayal flashed in my head, lies, messages, her perfume. I pulled my hand back. "I can't," I whispered. He looked confused. "It's not you," I added quickly. "It's just, I'm not ready." He nodded, his eyes kind. "Then I'll wait," he said softly. And for the first time, I believed someone actually meant it. That night, as I walked home under the stars, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel broken. I just felt human. A few days passed after that dinner. Liam and I texted sometimes, nothing heavy, just small talk, photos of sunsets, a shared joke about bad coffee. It was strange how calm it felt. No tension, no pressure, just two people trying to find their place in the same world again. One morning, while I was walking along the pier, I heard someone call my name. When I turned around, my heart dropped. It was Daniel. The man I had left behind. The one who shattered everything inside me. He looked desperate, eyes wild with regret. "Emma, please, just hear me out." His voice cracked, and for a second, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "I shouldn't have come here," I said, turning to leave, but he stepped in front of me. "I messed up, I know. But I can fix this. I can fix us." I laughed, not out of joy, but disbelief. "You can't fix what you broke with lies, Daniel. You destroyed something real." My voice trembled, but I didn't hide it. "You made me doubt my worth, my instincts, my heart." He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "Please, Emma," he whispered. "I can change." I looked at him, the same man who once made me feel small, scared, replaceable. And suddenly, all the pain I'd carried for months just dissolved. Because I realized something powerful, I didn't hate him anymore. I just didn't care. "I hope you do change," I said softly. "But not for me." Then I walked away, not running, not crying, just walking. Strong. Steady. Free. Later that evening, I sat on the beach with Liam. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with gold and violet. "He came back," I said quietly. Liam didn't react, didn't ask for details. He just nodded, waiting. I told him no, I continued. Because I finally realized. I don't need someone to complete me. I just want someone who sees me. He smiled, that small, understanding smile of his. Then maybe that's where it starts, when you stop searching for pieces you already have. I looked at him, really looked, and for the first time in a long time, my heart didn't ache. It felt ready. Not for love, not for someone else, but for myself. The waves crashed softly, the air smelled like salt and freedom, and I knew this chapter was closing. Not with heartbreak. Not with revenge. But with peace, because healing isn't loud. It's quiet moments when you finally breathe again. When you stop needing answers. When you look back and say, I survived that. And I did. As the stars appeared one by one, Liam turned to me. "So, what now?" he asked. I smiled. "Now. I start living again. He laughed softly. Then let's make sure you never forget how that feels. And as we sat there, two souls who'd both been broken and rebuilt, I realized something beautiful. Sometimes life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need. And that night, under the whispering waves and endless sky, I finally felt whole again.